YNW Melly hopes that a new lawsuit filed on his behalf gets him out of prison. The lawsuit accuses the Broward Sheriff's Office of cruel treatment and violating his constitutional rights. The rapper, whose real name is Jamel Demons, is accused of murdering two of his childhood friends back in 2018. Now, he hasn't been able to see or speak to any of his family members for the last 3 years, according to the lawsuit.
I can get the shorter cord. It's right there. You can get the longer cord. Look, he finna be chasing like this. I'm good right here. Look, the cord. He finna be chasing like that. That's not the music cord. The music cord is a short.
Rappers reacted to Melly's lawyers trying to get him released on a plea deal by using his lawsuit as leverage. When it was announced, Melly sues Broward Sheriff's Office for cruel treatment and is seeking immediate release from prison. Melly also claims that they have not allowed him to see or speak with any family members in 3 years, getting the reactions of rappers saying, "I like what I'm hearing right now. Shout out that boy Melly, man, free him. He been in there too long." This is because in Melly's lawsuit, his lawyers claimed he's been living in a freezing cold jail cell with no edible food in jail and no human contact. It was even shared. An interview from Melly's mother paints a disturbing picture of Melly's life in jail, making it sound like he won't last much longer. During an interview, she rants over the fact that Melly was granted a mistrial in his first trial, but is being treated terribly in jail. She says they won't even allow him a phone call or to look at his mail.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
She's upset with how her son is being handled in jail and would reveal she's heartbroken for him.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
The Melly case has gotten a lot of media attention because Charleston White reacted and said this is the way that Melly should be living. He shouldn't get no special treatment just because he's a famous rapper.
Even the YNW Melly, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated when you done chose to play somebody.
Although some people would claim that Melly's being treated worse than his average cellmate, Boosie responded to the situation and expressed his sympathy for how his mother is feeling.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a...
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
Although the feds responded to Melly's lawsuit by making his case worse, suddenly Melly's ex-girlfriend Mariah flew back into the United States after spending the last 3 years out of the country. The feds instantly arrested her at the airport and will be using Mariah to charge Melly with witness tampering.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demons' first trial in 2023.
The judge made Mariah agree that she would testify in the next Melly trial before she was released. Once she got out, she wrote to Facebook saying, "Thank you to my village. I love y'all so much. God's plan, not mine." Mariah seems like she's saying that she's going to testify. It's not what she wants, but it's something she has to do legally. The main reason she's so important is because the feds claim they have phone data that reveals Melly forced her to not testify. They claim Melly is the one that made her leave the country so she couldn't incriminate Melly in trial. This witness tampering charge also carries a full life sentence with it, regardless if Melly did the crime to sack chaser in juvie.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering charge is the main reason Melly can't use any communication in jail. Even YNW Juvie's father announced he knew that Melly witness tampered and explained how he did it using code words.
There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom. And
to make it worse for Melly, the prosecutors piled on more evidence to stop him from receiving a bond, as they shared the evidence of Melly admitting to doing the crime.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
They even released the video of Melly dancing in a parking lot with Bortlen just 5 hours after the crime, where Melly looks happy.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey. No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
As he didn't show any sadness for his two best friends. But without Melly knowing, he was filmed again, because he was recorded exiting the studio just minutes before the crime would go down. As you can clearly see, it's Melly that goes into the back left seat of the Jeep, the court documents report. The direction of the rounds travel from left to right in the car, which supports the claim that they originated from the back left seat where Melly was positioned. Even Juvie's mother confirmed where Melly was.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the kids in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
However, Melly's lawyer shared how the prosecutors admitted there was never a firearm found.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
But the feds responded, sharing the evidence they found in Bortlen's home.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with the witness.
It was announced by Bryson Paul. Here are the image of notes discovered during the home raid of Bortlen's home, as it revealed drawings that Bortlen drew which detail where the jurors were sitting and a description of what they looked like, as it looks like Bortlen was going to do something to the jury members.
To keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortlen, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh! Like, come the f on! It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro! Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player, they'll be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
But it gets concerning because Bortlen can validate all the evidence the prosecutors want to use against Melly, as they still want to know why Fredo Bang was called to pick up Melly on this night.
And Chris Thomas are. So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Devins is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location, to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Givens, then about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin where Mr. Devins has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone calls.
And new evidence they're trying to tie to the case has Melly in a Facebook post with Young Thug, as they're trying to say Melly is in the Red Street team because he hung out with Young Thug, who is on the Red team.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with him. And he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Devins has the big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see with individuals again, I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
Melly's lawyers wanted to stop this from being entered, but Melly didn't care, which caused the news to report this hearing marks the first time Melly publicly went against his legal team's advisement in open court, as Melly yelled at his lawyers,
"Yes, sir. Against our advice, our client must proceed."
People in the court heard Melly saying, "I don't care, I'm not in no team, they can't prove that."
I'm aware that 924-071 call for an automatic stay while
they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator, that's the death penalty. Aggravator, that's the gang enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the murder for the further of the gang, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
Something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
But they want to include another piece of evidence where a former O Block member exposed a secret Melly told King Von. Back in the day, Von and Melly used to be friends, and King Von told O Block members that Melly asked him about how to deal with people.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walter Bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
But the most concerning part is Bortlen's plea deal. It was announced Bortlen took the plea deal. He also agreed to a proffer, which means he's talking. The sentence is to accessory after the fact, and he will do 10 years plus 6 on probation minus time served. We've already requested his deposition in the civil case. Academics broke down exactly what this means, and he said, the judge says on both charges, Bortlen pled no contest to that he has to provide a factual basis for him to accept the plea. He has to tell a factual story of how he committed accessory to the crime, which confirms the crime happened. It's a gunna plea, except with the proffer, he can't say yes, ma'am. He gotta sing like Franklin.
I did tweet out saying people are upset. I said this is a gunna plea. This is a gunna plea. This isn't a plea saying you have to tell on him, but this is a plea that you're going to have to provide all the details that they were missing to convict him. And that's why it's a gunna plea. Why do I say he signed a gunna plea? Because YNW Melly, and I watched the case, we covered it. YNW Melly's case is that, number one, you guys have not done a job to prove that this is actually they have proved, but prove that this is a homicide with this person being the offender. Also, the accessory after the fact plea confirms that Bortlen, that's kind of like almost like a sub part of a conspiracy, except you weren't with the conspiracy at first. You came in after the fact. What that proved is that they came in, what that proved is that Bortlen worked with someone after he acknowledged that a murder took place in trying to cover it up. You hear what I just said? When pleading to an accessory to after the fact, you have to acknowledge that the happened and you assisted someone or in some way to cover the. Now, if Melly's statement is, how do we know that? And then secondly, how do we know who did it? Because they said it was a drive-by.
As Bortlen is required to say how the crime went down, which will expose Melly as being the one involved, regardless if he says Melly's name. When he tells the feds that Sack Chaser and Juvie passed from a situation inside the car, then Melly will be found guilty. But the judge couldn't believe how great of a plea deal that Bortlen got. As he said, I don't know how your lawyers pulled this off.
And it's my understanding that you want to resolve both cases today. Is that correct? Yes. And that resolution is an agreement you've reached with the state, the terms of which are as follows. Number one, in the 19 case, you're going to plead no contest to both counts of accessory after the fact. In the 23 case, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 counts as charged. In exchange for that, the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison.
This is one of the best plea deals of all time, as Bortlen's cutting his potential sentence from 5 life sentences to just 10 years in prison. This got another lawyer to share his take on it with the report. Lil Wayne and Kodak Black's attorney, Bradford Cohen, says Bortlen has bit the cheese and is likely to flip on Melly after accepting the plea deal.
All right, let's talk YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen. He is now doing the triple Lindy. For those youngsters that don't know what the triple Lindy is, it is when you do several flips off a high dive, and he will be flipping. He is going to be tell-all about anything he knows about the double case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happens. A lot of times where guys are in the prison for 4 or 5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve, he decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases. And I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time. But long story short is it looks like he's going to flip, and it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible.
Even 6ix9ine reacted saying, Bortlen just accepted his plea deal with prosecutors. Melly is cooked. I've been told you about all these rap guys years ago, but since they were scared of how big I was, everyone singled me out.